Hi, hello, welcome to another video. So as you can tell by the title and the screen, we are going to be doing another digital art sketchbook flip through. And this is actually going to be all of the art that I created in the month of March. So I'm really excited to share this because firstly, I obviously love talking about our precious babies, our characters, but I'm also really excited about this new little setup. So I've been wanting to do something like this since I started doing these digital sketchbook tours, but I finally figured out how to do it thanks to Tatty showing me how to use Canva a little better. I keep saying she created a monster and showing me more of the features on there, but yeah, I figured out how to do it now, so I'm super excited. And I'm also excited just because I am actually really proud of a lot of the pieces that I created through March. I didn't do a whole lot of fully finished pieces, and actually on the sketchbook cover you're seeing one of those fully finished pieces, which we will talk about obviously in a few minutes because it is one of the arts that I created in March, and it is Dunya and Simon and their fur son mugwort, but I will talk about that more when we get into the book. I just want to preface this as always by saying all of the characters that you're going to see in this flip through are original characters that belong to Tatty 1907 and me. And this whole book is only original characters this time. So I say this is all of the art that I created in March, but there are some pieces that I created that I didn't include in this sketchbook in particular that were just kind of commissions related or just some stuff that I'm working on behind the scenes for my like Ko-Fi shop and things. So I didn't include some of those pieces, but I included all of our character pieces, and I'm really excited. I like the way they turned out, and I like the way that the pages here are set up because I mean, like I said, you'll see when we get into it, but there are a lot of pieces in here that I created for like little videos, so I'm excited to show you. So without further ado, there will be plenty of yapping throughout this whole thing, so grab some snacks, get cozy, or hopefully it can keep you company in the background as you're doing other stuff. But yeah, let's hop right into it and get going. So the pages actually flip. I love this. It's so cute. I'm so excited. Okay, so right here on the first pages, we have our character Kyle and Natsume. And so something that both me and Tatty started doing, I think at the beginning of March, maybe slightly before that, is we put a ton of our characters' names into the wheel of names. And we've been spinning that, and then whoever shows up, we've been trying to do some sort of thing with them, so like a full illustration or just a simple picture. And so one of the first ones I spun is Kyle, and I made him this portrait because one of my goals kind of with the wheel of names is whenever we land on characters that we haven't drawn in a while or drawn a lot, I kind of wanted to do some portraits of them so that we have references also to add to our little encyclopedia that we're trying to grow. We are trying to make a little area where we can put all of the little references and things we have of characters so that when we want to draw them in bigger illustrations or other scenarios, or like for the stories like comics and visual novels and everything, we have a place where we can go and get their information and their references. So right here we have Natsume. This is the first sketch I did after not drawing her for a really long time, and then this is the edited version and then the final version. And I rolled Kyle, but I decided to do Natsume because they are a couple and I wanted to upgrade her design a little bit. I like the upgrades. I think she turned out super cute, and they're a super cute couple. They're actually a part of our storyline that we currently refer to as the Stars, and if you follow the other pages, you'll recognize Denny and Toshi, and that is the storyline they are a part of. A very basic gist of it is that they are celestial beings kind of that get their abilities from the various constellations, and Kyle here is one of those beings that has abilities, whereas Natsume is just a regular human person. But yeah, Kyle is hilarious and so funny and absolutely needs to show up more, so I'm really excited to share more about them. But yeah, I got really excited when he was like my first roll on the wheel. So And then over here are various images that I created actually for a little video. So this was for that video where you can see the two characters and one's really tall and one's really small, and then it's like that really cute song. I don't know what the song is called, but it switches back and forth between them, and then you can see their height difference. And so this is Beau, and this is Etienne, and Beau actually works at a restaurant called Old Reds, and this is one of those things that connects our various storylines, because Old Reds is like a restaurant that, you know, characters like Vadim and Cole and their friends would kind of go hang out at. And it's owned by Victor and Bonnie. They work together. Victor owns it. He hires her, and then they get together basically. And Beau is actually Bonnie's brother, little brother, but he's very tall, very big. But yeah, he's super cute, super sweet. And he winds up talking to Etienne because Etienne comes there a lot to kind of work on drawings of designs of clothes. But Beau winds up learning some sign language and they communicate together. And I just think they're really sweet. I don't know, they have a very cute dynamic. Beau is very quiet and he's actually just very, very sweet. And Etienne can kind of tell, so he feels super comfortable talking to him. Etienne is very outgoing and very extroverted, I guess you could say, and Beau is a little bit more reserved and quiet, so I think they have a super cute dynamic. Okay. Okay, the next page here. So you're gonna get, this is a glimpse into my character sheets again and how I do character sheets. As you can see, it's a bunch of like crumpled up stuff thrown onto a page. I very rarely do like clean character sheets. It's often this, a bunch of random ideas thrown on a page. So, fun little fact about him, this right here, this image is like the first image that appeared in my mind of him, or at least the one that I remember vividly, because I wrote my first impression of him up here because he literally showed up in a dream. This happens a lot with various OCs where it's like they come at the most random times, and so I have to believe, and this happens for both of us, me and Tatty, so I have to believe that they're like willing themselves into existence whenever they come crashing in like this. And he literally came crashing in like this. So what he's saying right here, I'm gonna jump those two cars, no problem, and then he crashes and completely breaks the cars. That's literally what happened in my dream. I said over here, you can read the various notes on this page. Some of them are very silly and like strange, as you can see. Very silly over here. But yeah, he learned his like personality and stuff that he does from like stunt bros and like bro dudes online, so he's obviously very messed up. He does have some relating lore to Astaroth from other lore. We have a lot of characters like that kind of relate or correlate to characters throughout other lore, but they're obviously changed to go along with our universes, and so he is one of these characters as well. And Teddy actually helped me figure out what his name was going to be. We were kind of like low-key asking him, like, who are you? Who do you want to be? And you can see right here the living tattoos that he has, so like the snake and the dragon are actually in relation to Astaroth from other lore as well. So yeah, pretty basic, pretty straightforward. It's just a character sheet, but I really like him. I think he's fun. And oh, also Teddy made a character that goes along with him, which is his boy, and he keeps him in check. He is an angel called Ismail, and I think their dynamic is super fun already. We haven't role played or anything with them yet, but the talks that we've had about them so far are really fun and funny, so I'm really excited to see their dynamic together more. Okay, so these next pages, so this is Tatiano, this is Emiliano, and this is Tatiano's little sister Clelia, and Emiliano and Tatiano are obviously a couple. I did this picture for Carnival, and in particular the celebration that happens in South Italy in relation to Carnival. So you might recognize the costumes if you're familiar with that. Tatty actually helped me find like traditional costumes. She actually sent me a bunch of options for traditional costumes, and she picked out this one for Tatiano in particular because Tatiano is originally made by her. I'm gonna forget to say that again a bunch of times throughout this book, which characters are designed by who, but hopefully hopefully you can figure that out, or maybe some of them will be super obvious. But yeah, so she originally designed Tiziano, and so she picked out this little outfit for him, and then I picked out these ones. And Clelia's I actually changed a tiny bit because I added like the bow and changed a couple of little aspects, but I think this came out really cute. It was really fun. We had a very chill day that day, and we were just kind of hanging out and both drawing. She also made some really cute art for that day, so we were just hanging out and chilling and having a good time. And I really like the way the colors in this turned out. And throughout this month, I was really trying to experiment with leaning even more into like anime style line work and coloring, and I think that worked out really well for this picture. I just like the balance of it and the colors. I think it turned out nice. I don't know, and plus I think they're adorable. So these two are also friends with like Vadim and Kola and that group of friends, and they go to the same school and everything, so another instance how the stories connect to each other, and they're really sweet. I love them a lot. And then over here we have Orif, his mother Alia, and then Nadini, who is obviously his wife, his beautiful, beautiful wife. And this is a little depiction that I did because I rolled Alia on the wheel. So Tatty originally designed Alia and Nadini. I rolled Alia on the wheel, and we've been doing a lot of various talks with them, and we are currently doing like role plays with all of them involved. These are characters from Out of the Dome again. I've mentioned them in the other videos as well, but we've been doing a lot of talks with them where there's just a lot of very like heavy things happening, and poor Alia, she's so sweet. I feel so bad for like her details and backstory and the lore that she has. And so I wanted to do something that was like a little bit less sad. This is like feely, but in like a nice way that's not like super devastating. I mean, it's still kind of devastating if you think about it in certain aspects, which are story details that I'm not going to fully deep dive into right now. But I just wanted to do something sweet. So in the story, it takes Orif and Nadini a really long time to finally get married. And that's because Orif is hesitating a lot. And it's not because of Nadini. It's because he personally feels really like inadequate, and he doesn't want to like weigh her down or slow her down. But Nadini's like, stop saying that. Why would you say that? And so finally, at some point, he winds up proposing to her due to some various events in the story that just make him realize even more so that he's like, you know, that he just wants to be with her. He knew all along. They're kind of one of those couples that are like, they're literally basically already married. So any wedding they do is just going to be a celebration for like people who are close to them, and them, it's just a party. So yeah. But another important aspect of this is that for a while, Orif and his mother are not like, they're not on the best terms. So they're not like, hanging out with each other regularly or even talking too much due to some various things that happen in the story and some aspects of the story that are in place. They don't talk, you know, like familial issues and stuff like that. But this is after a point where she comes back and they kind of like make amends, and she makes amends a little bit with Daniel as well. We're literally currently doing that in one of the role plays that we're doing, and I'm actually really excited to see how it goes because Danny is so sweet, and Alia definitely regrets not coming and like talking sooner and making amends sooner. So I'm really curious to see how that goes. But yeah, this is just a depiction of a cute moment of her at their little wedding with all of their friends and close family members and stuff. So yeah. Okay, and another character, speaking of characters that are created by Tatty originally, this is Yeva, and she's actually the younger sister of Orif. So really sad. I'm not going to get into the sad stuff right now because but so March 7th is actually Yeva's birthday, so I just wanted to do a cute pretty picture for her. I did a portrait, and we tend to do like little portraits or illustrations for the various character birthdays that come up, especially ones we remember. There are some that didn't get written down, and I always feel so bad when we didn't like do a picture for them, but we usually try to go back and do it even so. But yeah, her birthday is March 7th, and I was originally just gonna do a portrait, but I found this cute dress that she's wearing, and I just wanted to show a little bit more of it, so it kind of wound up being a little bit more of like a half body type pullback, but yeah, I don't know. I just want to do something simple and elegant. And these flowers I chose, I'll put the actual meaning up on the screen of these flowers in particular, because I don't remember all of them. There's like a few, but I picked it because it goes along with her personality and like aspects of the story in relation to her and who she is related to and has relations with, basically. So yeah. And then over here we have Dasha and Lucas, and then all of their kids. So we have Gemma, Katya, Gosha, and Riley. And Dasha is actually one of the sisters of Frederick. So fun thing, these guys are all featured in that comic that I've mentioned a few times, the webcomic that we are kind of revamping along with writing our other things that we're working on. And these characters are shown in that comic because, like I said, since Dasha is Frederick's sister, these are actually the nieces and nephew of Frederick and Fabrizio. And so I rolled Lucas that day, and so that's why the portrait is up here as well. I hadn't drawn him in a while, and I just wanted a reference for him. I'm not super happy with how the reference came out, but it's good enough to show kind of like what he looks like in his colors. So I did that little reference, and then I did this little picture of them, and they are actually a blended family. So originally Gosha and Katya are Dasha's biological children, and Gemma and Riley are Lucas's biological children, and they blend together because they both got out of kind of like really bad relationships, and then they wound up meeting each other due to an event that was like in relation to the kids, and then they started talking more and eventually got together. And it's really sweet and a really cute situation because they both just deserve really nice partners, and they're both very, very sweet partners. So, and their kids are super happy. So, yes. Okay. Oh, this next page. Okay, so this is from March 9th, and March 9th was Women's Day. And so I decided to just do a little doodle sheet of a bunch of our various characters that identify as women. This is not even like close to the amount of characters that we have that identify that way. We have a ton of characters in general, and so this is definitely not even close to a fraction of the amount of characters that identify as women. So yeah, but I did get a few on here, and I also did this a little bit later in the day, so I didn't have as much time to try to fit more in the places and like make it more like formatted in a better way. But yeah, I fit as many as I could on here with the time that I had to do it. I usually try to post the little TikToks before midnight, so oftentimes if I start late in the day, I have to kind of speed it up or rush it a little bit. And I didn't get to go back and revisit this to try to change it a little bit. But yeah, we have like Dunya on here and Kilia, which are Lessa's sisters, of course. And then we have Lilith over here and Muffy and then Minerva, who are friends. And I'm also realizing just now that I did not put Minerva's horns in here, but she can kind of retract them. But I'm just realizing just now that I forgot that. And then these characters right here are also from Out of the Dome. This is Ray and this is Joe, and they are little cute little wives. And then we have Lavina and Idle, and we even have Noir on here, and then we have Claudia and her little Damien plushie, and then this is Damien's mom, Daniela, and just a bunch of various characters. We have Malin over here. We're currently doing a role play that features, it's her and her husband, Dorothea, slightly older, with their kids who are like young adults, and it's very cute so far, so I'm super excited. And then there's Tamara here, which is Lessa's adoptive mom, and we have Delira, which is Himalio's wife, and yeah, just a bunch of various characters on here. I do like how this turned out. It's very quick and very sketchy, but I do think it looks pretty cute, and it was fun for the theme of the day. So yeah. Okay, so all right, so this is the full page spread of March 10th's artwork, and so I did do a speed paint about this and talked more about it in that, so I'm not going to say too much about it, but this is the piece that I did for mine and Simon's birthday. So this is Simon. So this is Dunya, this is Simon, and then their fur baby Mugwort. And like I said before, Dunya and Kilia are sisters of Lessa. So these two are in the same storyline as like Lessa and Daeyeon. And then over here we have their friends. So this is Yuya and Naoya, and then this is Naomi and Pam. And as you can see, they are married, and they are married. You can't see Pam's other hand, but trust me, bro. But yeah, basically the gist of this piece is that I have been super into like nostalgia core and weird core and just very colorful stuff. So I just wanted to do something that was fun and whimsical and kind of self-indulgent as a birthday piece, and do something that's in full color. Oftentimes I tend to stick towards like sketchy stuff or like flat colored things or whatever. But every once in a while I like to just go on and full color something, or at least color it more. And just kind of experiment with various things. So that's what I did here. I just had fun making this. It was a chill time. I was watching some cool videos in the background and hanging out and just making this. So I like the way it turned out. If you want to see the speed paint for that, I'll link that down in the description or somewhere around here. But I did do a whole speed paint in a video talking about this. So, and I talked about it more in that video, but Tatty and my mom and my dog made it a very nice day. I usually don't like my birthday, so that's another reason I kind of did like quote unquote self-indulgent art, because I was just doing stuff to make it even better. But I really appreciate them for also making it a special day. So yeah, all around it was really sweet, and I'm glad I did this picture. I like the way it turned out. I think it's fun, and I love all the artwork that Tatty gave me and the other things that we all did on that day. So yeah. Okay, and then here we have a character who is called Chartreuse. She is actually part of the storyline with like Alizur and Noir in what we usually refer to as like Vogel, or the town of Vogel. So she actually gets with one of the main three of that story. So the main three are Alizur, Cyan, and then Arlide, and she actually gets together with Arlide. And I think that they're actually so cute because she's got a very like forward, sultry type of personality. She works in a bit of a nightclub, and she's like the bartender there, and she's very forward and like not awkward at all when it comes to romance and things alike. But Ari is super awkward, and so I feel so bad for her because she has to wait a little bit for Ari to get his shit together, but he eventually does that. He's a little bit of a dumbass, but you know, that's it's just part of the game. But yeah, either way, she's super cute. I wanted to finish this more and like shade it more and stuff, but I didn't wind up having time to do it. So I wound up exporting her as she is, and I do like it still. I think she came out really cute. She's originally designed by Tatty as well. I don't think I did her as much justice because she's like absolutely gorgeous, but I do like the way the drawing came out overall, and she's super cute, so yeah. And then over here we have another character that is originally designed by Tatty as well. This is Lucer, or Lucifer, and he is the Lucifer of our universes. Like, he has similar lore to other lore about Lucifer. And originally this piece was going to be a fully finished, fully colored, fully shaded and everything to kind of go along with the picture that I did of Lilith for Cattober, which is his wife. But I didn't wind up having time to fully finish it and color it, so I wound up just giving it this like chromatic aberration type effect and exporting as is. There was some aspects about it that I wanted to fix and whatnot before I started coloring, and I just didn't. I wound up not having the time to do it, and then I continued making the other pieces and stuff. I probably will revisit it, to be honest, because I really do want to have a piece that goes along with hers that is of Lucifer, but yeah, for now I have this sketchy version of it. I do actually like how it looks. There's some cool aesthetic charm to it in this form as well, so I don't know. He's so cute. I love Lucy. He's adorable. He's a baby. Okay, so these characters, as you can see, I kind of drew these to go together. I really wish I would have had more time to fully color Gadriel here. I probably will go back and add the colors to him because I like the way that both of these turned out and how similar yet different they turned out. So these two are both from
the plot lines that happen in the Esmeralda setting. And again, I've mentioned this before, and if you follow the pages, you'll see kind of the differences in the little like universes and plot lines. And they are in the plot line of the Esmeralda setting. So this is Gadril right here, Captain Gadril, and this is Avi over here. And they are rivals, basically. So they are trained by the same person since the time they were very young. So for a long time, they have this super unhealthy rivalry where it's just like they're worried about favoritism for the person training them, and they try to outdo each other, and they're kind of enemies for a while, and then they slowly become frenemies. Because another funny aspect about them, I love that dynamic. I just have to point that out. First of all, I love the dynamic of them being like intense rivals, but they're pretty evenly matched in strength. I would put my money on Gadril because he is like very, very intent on like being very strong with his magic, but they're both pretty equal. So Gadril tends to use ice magic and necromancy, whereas Avi's main is like necromancy and poison, and the ones that lean into that color. Again, in this universe, the magic works by auras, and the auras have different colors, and that is determined by many various aspects. But they have similar magic, and they're trained by the same person to do the necromancy type magic. And so they, like I said, they start off as unhealthy rivals, and then they slowly become slightly more healthy rivals. And Avi also gets together with one of Gadril's brothers, so they kind of are like forced to like each other a little bit. But yeah, they do wind up working together at some point in the story, and I just think that dynamic is so fun and funny. And I don't know, I think Avi's super cute, and Gadril's obviously very cute. I love them, and I'm excited to share more about them as we work on their story and kind of revamp the stuff for them as well. So yeah, I wanted these to go together, and this is where I was trying to do the lean in more to the anime style. So the line work and the coloring, I was really trying to get the anime look. And I think, I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. I think I kind of achieved it. So yay, I don't know. I also like the effects over here on this page. Like I said, I do want to just go back in and add his actual colors because I think it would make it look even cooler. But yeah. Cooler, haha. That's funny because he uses ice magic. Anyways, okay. So over here we have some various pieces put onto one page. So this is an unfinished animation that I'm currently working on, and this says Akoya and Haven. So Akoya is the mermaid, Haven is the one who does not have a mermaid tail. They are a couple. I wanted to do a cute little anime where they're just hugging and floating together, because Akoya can basically grant Haven the ability to breathe underwater, but they have to be connected in some way. So I just wanted to do something that was kind of a play on that and practice little loop animation as well. So I will go back and try to make this at some point, but I didn't have time to finish it more than this, so I figured I would just share the sketch for now. And then over here we have Sungi. I rolled him on the wheel the one day, but it was kind of a bad art day, or like a kind of a sleepy day. So I just did this very simple sketch of him with his little doggo. And he's actually in a webcomic that we have. It was a short story, and we entered it in a little competition, and that's still on Webtoons. If you want to read that, I will put the link in the description below. But yeah, I think that their story is very, very cute. I enjoyed working on the short stories. I think they're very sweet. And I wanted to do something cute for him. And I like the way this turned out, even though it's simple and like very sketchy. I thought that there was something really cozy about it, and I just like the way his face turned out. I think he turned out super cute. So yeah. And then up here we have Nico, and this is actually kind of a slight redesign of Nico. So I literally I could not figure out what type of hair I wanted him to have. And Tatty finally came up with this style, which I think fits him so well, and she made it look so good. Again, you can see I was trying to lean into like even more of the anime style. I really am trying to lean in that direction more with my art in general. And so I've been practicing it in various ways. And Nico is one of those characters that came up that hadn't been drawn in a while. And again, I couldn't figure out his hair. So I decided to just do a portrait so that we could have a reference. And thank you to Tatty for figuring out his hair because I could not figure it out. But yeah, I like the way he turned out. I think that the hairstyle is really fitting to him, and I think he looks more like how he's supposed to now, so that is good. He's also a hairdresser, so like technically he can change his hair a bunch, but I still wanted to have like a go-to style that was his style and like recognizable as him. And then down here we have Soo-young, and he is actually the husband of somebody in like Lessa's family line, so an ancestor to Lessa, and they are based around the 1940s or like that time frame. And Soo-young works at a club, and Iris is kind of his persona, so this is how he like dresses, especially for work, but he tends to lean more towards feminine stuff in general. But this particular outfit is what he wears at the club. And so he meets a very nice young man named Sonia, and they just hit it off. They have great chemistry. We are literally currently doing a role play with them where they've just first met, and it's been absolutely adorable so far. So I'm super excited to see more of them. I think they're really, really sweet so far. And yeah, Sonia is absolutely adorable. So I'm really excited for that. But yeah, this is just a portrait because Iris is relatively new, and so is Sonia. We kind of just solidified their designs very recently, so this was just a portrait to kind of show what he looks like. So yeah. And then over here we have Frederick and Fabrizio. And I decided to do this picture because me and Tatty, so we play The Sims, as I've mentioned in other videos. And again, I have a whole video showing some of these redraws. This one is actually featured in that as well. But we play The Sims together, and we've created a bunch of our OCs in the game. And so we will just go and hang out with them in various households and take pictures and just like do fun stuff and get them to do fun things. And so one of the things we did was go over to Frederick and Fabrizio's to hang out with them. We just recently, well, somewhat recently installed Wicked Whims, so we went over to test that out. But before that, we were having them be romantic and super cute because that's just in their personality anyways. And so I really liked this screenshot a lot, and I decided to redraw it. I wish I would have done it slightly better, but I do like how it came out still. I think they're really sweet and adorable, and I love Frederick and Fabrizio so much. Again, I've mentioned before, but Frederick is like an angelic character, and Fabrizio is like a demonic character. Like those are literally their, like what they are as beings, and I love that dynamic. I just think that's so freaking adorable. And Frederick, I love him so much. He's always been one of my very close babies, and Fabrizio quickly became that as well. And yeah, they're both originally designed by Tatty too. And again, if you've been around on the pages for a while, you'll recognize them pretty much right away. But yeah, I don't know, just it's very simple. But I have a small little series that Tatty also encouraged where I take little screenshots from The Sims and redraw them. So this is part of that series as well. Okay, and then over here we have some Lessa and Daeyeon. I just wanted to do something that was cute and cuddly with them, and we had been talking about various little things with them, like from their role plays and just from their story in general. So back here, oh, and in The Sims, because again, their household is another household we've been visiting. And this explains this back here. So this is Levi and this is Dantanian. And in The Sims, they are the child age Sims. But in like the actual storylines, technically D'Artagnan is not like an actual child. Levi kind of is not either. They're both demons basically. So these little chubby forms right here are another one of their forms. And then they both have very big, scary forms as well. And then over here are animals that can kind of be considered familiars for Les Andeans. So the snake is like Les's familiar, and the little like fox-like dog, jackal animal is Dayan's familiar. And this is in relation to the abilities that they have and like their connections throughout like the ancestries and stuff. This will be explained more as we release more about the stories and stuff, but yeah, this is their little family, their cute little silly family, and I just wanted to do a fun little cozy picture of them. And then over here we have Danny and Patrick. So I mentioned Daniel earlier, and I've mentioned him in a few of the other posts as well. And so this picture I actually made because Tatty had exams to do, and so I wanted to do something that was just like Danny and Patrick studying together, reading books, doing something in relation to that, just to wish her luck and to stay safe for her little exams. And the exams went really well so far, so we're keeping our fingers crossed for continued good energy. So yeah, I don't know, I just wanted to do something that would kind of cheer her up a little bit. She was anxious about it, and I just wanted something that would be cozy and nice to look at. And Danny and Patrick are adorable, and I love them so much, so yeah. Okay, and then here, these little frames are for a video that I did. So again, you can see that on my TikTok, but the video I used these for was another one, and then it was like a notification, another one, and it was just Lessa giving Dayan kisses and them giving kisses to each other. So those are the frames for that. And then over here we have Matvey and Solomon, and these two are from, again, the comic that I have been mentioning that we're revamping, Happiness Is You. These are the main characters from that comic, and I was feeling like a little sentimental this day. I rolled Solomon on the wheel, and I really was not sure what to do with him at first, but then I just randomly thought of this cute little thing where he would just be admiring Matvey, and the caption on the video that I made with this was like, when you realize that all the terrible things you had to go through was all worth it, basically. And that's exactly how Solomon feels. Vey is very precious to him. He loves him so much. They love each other so much, and they are super cute. They have a really rough start because they're going through various things, but they wind up really helping each other and becoming each other's like safe places. And I just think they're really sweet. And so I wanted to do something that kind of showed that sort of dynamic with them. And as you can see, the little pictures around here are like various pictures of them. So they're making a little scrapbook together. I don't know, I thought it would be fun. Okay, 3/23. So this day is Yevon's birthday. So Yevon is actually the older brother of Vadim, who I have mentioned a couple times in this video now. Yeah, he's the older brother of Vadim, and Winnie is his wife. And this is pretty simple and straightforward. I just wanted to do a cute birthday picture for him. The first thing that I did was the little kind of like portrait. I guess it's a little bit more than a portrait, it's showing more than that, but yeah, the first thing I did was the portrait, and then I decided to do the full body picture of them together to kind of surprise Tatty a little bit, because during the day we drew together and we both drew him little pictures similar to this. So I decided to surprise her by adding this other second version of this, and then I just turned it into a full little sheet. For some reason, it's more comfortable for me to draw on sheets that are this size, that are like video size, because it fills the whole screen on the paint program. So oftentimes I'll do a whole sheet like this and then have stuff on both sides. So yeah, and then these are just like the close-up versions. So as you can see, hopefully you like the way the pages are formatted. I tried to do some like close-ups of the things and show the full spreads of it. So hopefully you're liking that so far. Please let me know in the comments if you like this little setup. I think it's super fun. So I hope you like it as well. And then over here, this is for another video that I did, that I really like how it turned out. This is Goylin and Terrence, Prince Terrence. And this is basically showing different instances of Goylin, how he normally is, and then how he is when it's time to protect the prince. And I made that into a video as well, which has that caption on it. And it actually did really well. I think people liked it a lot. People tend to like Goylin a lot, so I'm really, really happy about that because Tatty originally designed Goylin. She also originally designed Yevon, so yeah. But I like the way this video turned out, and I actually had a lot of fun drawing this, especially this frame here, because I did it very like messy, and then the coloring just made it all come together. And like, I don't know, I like the way it turned out. So I love Goylin. He's so freaking cute also. He really is a great royal guard. And then this is, I separated the frame so you could see it a little bit better. So on the previous page, you could see that I turned this one to almost look like a double page spread on its own, just because I wanted to see what it looked like as, you know, like manga pages. But these are the separated pieces so that you could see them more clearly. I love Goylin so much. He's really so sweet, but he can be scary if he needs to be. That's, you know, that's the whole point here. And then over here we have frames for another little kind of like animation thing that I did. So the character that I was talking about before, Iris, this is Iris, and then this is Sonia, the boy that he gets together with. And I used the audio that was like, with me, pretty boy. And then he's like, oh, I'm pretty boy. So that's what this is. Again, you can see the video on my TikTok. I like the way this turned out. Sonia's sweet. It just really encapsulated their personalities really well. So I couldn't resist using the audio. I thought it was super cute, especially for Sonia. He's very sweet and like awkward in the cutest way. So yeah, I just wanted to do a fun little scene with them. And I really like the way this page looks with the little frames laid out like that. So you read it this way. It starts from the right and then goes this way and then zigzags down. And that's basically how they were put together in the video as well. Okay, the next page is, okay, so this is another little video that was kind of animated. A fun fact about my animated things too is that instead of doing the smart thing and like exporting the frames and actually animating them in like a video editor, I do it by hand. So I'm holding the phone or propping it up with one hand and recording, and then my other hand is usually like clicking stuff to make it move. So you'll see in the video, if you watch the video version of this, her hand actually like moves and stuff, and the turning of the head and him moving when he's laughing is all me doing that manually as I'm recording at the same time. So this is basically that audio of the trend that people were doing where it would be somebody is putting on like their makeup or doing their nightly routine or whatever, and then somebody comes in and like, aha, you look silly, whatever, they're like laughing at them, and then the final frame is that the person who was originally doing it also made the person who was laughing do it as well. But he loves it. He's a good husband. He's just stunned that it happened so fast. He can't believe it. And this is Damien and Claudia again, so the characters that I mentioned previously. But yeah, I like the way that this video turned out. I thought it was really fun and silly. And then over here are more frames for video. This was a bit more of like a tender, sweet one. It's that audio that's like, look into my eyes and say, I love you. And then he keeps making him repeat it. And to me, this just fit their personality really well because Daniel struggles a lot with like imposter syndrome and kind of self-deprecation, like to unhealthy levels a lot of the times. And so I just thought that the audio was really fitting for them because Patrick, on the other hand, absolutely adores Daniel and thinks he's amazing and perfect, and he has no problem telling him that again and again and again. So I just thought the audio was really fitting, especially for that aspect of it, of Patrick being like, yeah, absolutely, I do love you. Absolutely. And then just a sweet little tender moment of them being cuddly. I don't know. I like the way this turned out. I like the way this page looks too. I think they look super cute. Danny is adorable. Little squishy baby. Okay, more frames for little videos. So over here we have Lessa, and then this is Dahlia, who is actually like the main antagonist for Cave Canem and throughout, you know, their stories and lore in general. So Lessa and Daeyun, here's Daeyun right here. And this is the audio where somebody is like interviewing another person, and she's like, oh, like, can you give me a rating, basically, like of her attractiveness? And he's like, no, I have a girlfriend. And then no matter what she says, he keeps saying, I have a girlfriend, my girlfriend. And so yeah, that's basically this. And then this finishing frame is her being like, okay, fine, what would you rate your girlfriend then? And he's like, oh, she broke my scale, she's too beautiful. Obviously Daeun is not a girl, but you know, that's kind of just the nature of audios and how they work when you put them together. So it's his boyfriend. I've replaced the word with boyfriend, but yeah. And then school age, because that's when they're still technically boyfriends and not husbands yet. Although, let's be honest, they've been husbands since they were like little kids, at least in Daeun's mind, and then Lessa's mind only slightly after that. So yes. And then over here we have Prince Christopher and Sin, which is his royal guard. And Christopher is actually friends with Terrence. They are in neighboring kingdoms and they are on good terms. And so Sin is his royal guard. And this audio is basically just saying, who told you you're not enough? They were wrong. And again, it just really, really encapsulates their personalities. Christopher also has a lot of self-doubt, a lot of imposter syndrome, he's not treated very well by his family. Technically, in the storyline, he is actually like the spare of that family line. And so he's really just not treated right, like at all. And there's a lot of kind of shady stuff going on in their castle and in their section of the story. And so when Sin comes in, he's like, no, I don't like that they don't treat you well. I don't fucking think so. That is not going to happen. Not on my watch. So yeah, so he's constantly there as his like supporter. He checks on him, he takes care of him, and he takes care of other people when they don't treat him right, if you know what I'm saying. No, but yeah, I just think this audio is really fitting, and I just wanted to do a cute Christopher, adorable baby, cute blushy Christopher. Yeah, I love him so much. He's so sweet. And Sin loves him very, very much. Very, very, very much. Okay, we are actually almost finished here. So we have over here, we have Uriel, which again, like I've said, he is the king of the underworld in our lore. And this is his loyal like husband / right hand man. This is Reziel. And this is to go along with that audio. That's like the song September, do you remember? It's that, but then it's like very, what do you want to call it? He's thinking very dirty thoughts, and it's like a song overlaid with that song that goes to the same beat. And it's like, you'll probably have to just watch the TikTok to understand what I'm saying, but maybe you already know of the audio. But yeah, I put that together for this, and they're trying to have a meeting, and Reziel is thinking impure thoughts because they had some quote unquote time before their meeting started. That was the premise of the video that I did for that. So yeah, I like the way Uriel turned out. I think he turned out really pretty. His hair had changed from what it originally was when he was initially drawn, because again, these are two characters that we've also recreated in The Sims 4. And so some of the styles have changed a little bit. That's the fun thing about The Sims, is sometimes you wind up finding other things that you want to try to add to characters, or sometimes they take certain actions that make you add different things to them. And so that makes it really fun and interesting, and kind of keeps you guessing on like what various elements are going to be included. So that's always fun. But yeah, I like the way this turned out. I think it's fun. I said fun a lot, but you know, you get what I'm saying. And then this over here, so this is Nikki and Yvonne, or Nikolai and Yvonne. And Nikki is another sibling of Frederick, actually. He is his older brother. And Yvonne is somebody that he winds up working for, so she owns this big like corporation.
And Yvonne is actually the older sister, the older sibling of Pavli and Duell. And Pavli and Gora have shown up on the pages a lot. And then Duell, I also did something kind of recent-ish with him as well, because it was his and my dog's birthday in January. So yeah, they are both part of the Cave Canem storyline as well. And Nikki is actually the doctor that Lessa, like that Dae-Yoon kind of makes Lessa see whenever something happens. If there's something wrong, if they got injured, Nikki is the only doctor that like Dae-Yoon trusts, and then eventually Lessa comes to trust him as well, even though he's very adverse to doctors for, you know, good reasons, obviously. But yeah, he's the only doctor that they trust, and so they keep going back to him, and he's connected to the what is referred to as the Song Corporation, because that is the last name of Yvonne and like her family. And so this I made, it has more frames than this, but at the time that I put this together and at the time that I finished March's art, I hadn't finished all of the frames yet, so I just included the colored one of this. But I used that audio that was like, oh, how's your ankle? And she's like, oh, it's fine. Can you tell me what I have? And he lists a bunch of pills in her hand, and then she takes all of them. And he's like, why would you do that? I like the way this video turned out as well. But yeah, this is the initial drawings for those and the colored version. So yeah. And then this is the cute little finishing page that I made for this. I actually like the way this turned out a lot. But that's it. We got through the whole book. I'm so excited. That probably turned out way longer than it should have, but I enjoyed yapping about the OCs. Honestly, there's so much that I can say, and I always like remember stuff after I'm done and all that too. So hopefully it was enjoyable. Like I said, hopefully it kept you company if you were working on other stuff or doing other stuff. Let me know below what you were working on or what you were doing, or maybe you were just staring at the screen. That's cool too. I hope you enjoyed either way. Thank you so much if you watched all the way to this point. I hope you liked seeing all of our OCs, and I hope you liked this little flip through in this format, and I hope you like my little finishing page here. So yeah, I had a whole lot of fun, and I hope to see you again. Please remember to like and subscribe if you want to see more content from me. If you like what you saw, let me know. Leave your comments down below, and check out those other videos and things from the description as well if you would like to. And yeah, for now, take care, stay safe out there, and I will see you soon in another video. Okay, see you for now.